Today, we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from Spider-Man No Way Home. Alright, and here he is, the Tobey Maguire iteration of Spider-Man. This is his suit as seen in No Way Home, though it is almost identical to the suit seen in the original 3 Sam Raimi movies. Gotta say, I think SHF did a great job of capturing the look of this suit in 1/12 scale. We haven't received a figure of this suit in about 15 years, which is really crazy. I will say the figure looks a tad awkward in a vanilla pose like this here, but once you get him posed up, this thing really works very well as a Spider-Man figure. Taking a close look at the head sculpt here, as it's one of the most important features of the Raimi suit, in my opinion. That mask and that head shape is a very iconic part of those early movies. I think SHF did a very good job here. The eyes line up pretty well. They're painted in kind of a pearlescent white, almost silver, where in some lights it looks white. If you're looking at straight on here, you can see it looks white. And if I move it a little bit farther away from the camera, you could see that it's more of a pearlescent white. The web lines are painted pretty nice. They're decently thick too, just like they are on this actual suit, and they're painted all pretty well. I haven't really seen any paint mist. I've been looking around for it, and it looks like they painted them pretty well. You can see here though on the back of the head, I've actually chipped off a little bit of that silver web painting just from moving the neck all the way up and the back of the head sort of hitting that area. Which is, it's more my fault than it is SHF. I've posed this guy around quite a bit, and I've been a little bit rough with it. The logo on the front of the suit is also painted up pretty well. All these kind of brick patterns on the suit look really, really nice. They're all sculpted in. It's exactly how this version of Spider-Man looks. And the back logo looks really good as well. There's no paint bleeding or anything, which looks really nice. You could actually move this. If I move this piece up a bit, you can see that the logo goes into the actual torso, which is good because when you want to get that sort of crunching down pose, you'll be able to have the spider logo stretch out a bit. It looks a little weird sometimes, especially when you move the torso, but that happens with a lot of these sort of Spider-Man figures. One thing I really don't like about this figure are the double jointed elbows. Break up the sculpt a lot. It would have been nice if they could sort of keep this sculpt going through this double jointed elbow. I know that's a little bit difficult to do, but they could have at least painted it red, just because that really, really stands out to me. That is not how the suit is supposed to look at all. It bugs me quite a bit, but when you have them posed up again, you can't really see it. The crotch piece sort of looks a little awkward. I know people call it a diaper. It doesn't really look like a diaper to me. It's more of just, I don't know, it's just all these joints sort of stacked up on each other. It looks a little bit off, especially when you have them in a vanilla pose. It looks a little bit weird. The sort of belt going around the waist here just sticks out a little bit too far for my liking. Makes it look a little off. Like you can see smooth sculpt going down here, and then it pops out just a little bit too far. Would have been nice if they could sort of just push that in a little bit or make it a little bit smaller. I know that might have lent for less articulation maybe in the long run, so that's probably why that wasn't done, but it's a very small sort of nitpicky type of issue. The legs look pretty good, and there's a little bit of shading even. If you can see, there's sort of a darker shading down here, goes to light, and there's a little bit more dark shading. And these logos also bug me on the feet, though I know they have to do this for copyright reasons, but anyway. Now, I usually don't do this on this channel, but we're going to take a look at the articulation on this figure, just because there's a couple things here that are very new to me that I was a little bit frustrated with at first, but I kind of got used to. Anyway, first of all, the head is on a double ball peg, so it moves up pretty far. Again, this is where the scratching came in, which I'm kind of still ignoring because I want the head to be up as far as possible. That was one issue that I ran into with the figure at first. The ball peg, surprisingly, is actually like a Mafex joint. So this ball peg was twisted the other way, which is why the head wouldn't move up all the way, because it was actually bent the other way. I managed to turn it around, but now it is very, very tight. So I'm going to have to get some silicone shock oil to fix that issue. But anyway, putting it back on the peg there, The head moves up about that far, moves down pretty far as well. This is the second problem I have with this. The shoulder joint here doesn't really move very far forward, nor does it move back like really at all. It's like almost like a double ball peg in there. It's really odd. But you know, it can shift up and down, and it leaves you a little bit of room to be able to move it forward a bit more. But the real issue is, if I could just pop this out, so you can see there, it is in the very, very front of the figure, so it doesn't really allow you to pop it more than where that ball joint sits. Like, it doesn't give you enough wiggle room. Would be nice if they move this joint more to the middle. See that there? If they move that more to the middle, you'd have been able to move it more forward. This part of the shoulder would actually sit more into the figure as you're moving it back and forth. Though they didn't do that, but it still works out pretty well. And the way this shoulder is put together, you could kind of, you know, move it forward a little bit more. That's about as much give as you're gonna get there. Yeah, you don't really get much back either, which is a little bit frustrating. But you know, you get used to it after a while. I was really upset with it at first, and I kind of got used to it. I was able to get him, you know, holding his web. Probably not gonna be able to do it now because it takes a little bit of finagling with these shoulders. But so you could almost get him to touch both hands together. You can, but it just takes a little bit of finessing. So you're also moving these shoulders back. It's a little scary sometimes because the way the shoulder connects there, you have to sort of make sure it's turning on the inside and also on the outside, because it's a swivel on both joints basically. So, or it's a ball and then another ball in the other joint. So you just got to be careful with that. There's a good range of motion at the waist. It moves back pretty far, and moves forward far as well. They have that cool little, like, almost like triple joint in there, so you know that moves forward pretty well. At the crotch, so this is the crazy part here. Legs move forward this much and back all the way, so you could get him to kick himself in the back of the head, which is fucking insane. This crotch piece is a little bit annoying. It's almost got some like ass articulation here. I don't know what's up with that, but you can move it back like that, which is pretty crazy, and move it forward. The thing I like to do is I like to sort of shift these cheeks around, just to make sure that they're sitting directly at the back. The legs move out to the side about this much, so you could get it almost flat, really, which is pretty cool. Moves forward. There is a thigh swivel, double jointed knees. The ankles swivel. They move down, up. There's toe articulation, and there's a good ankle pivot. And the arms, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Wrist can move back and forth, and you could turn them, twist them, and they move back and forth the other way too. I noticed pretty early on that it's like ridiculously easy to get this guy into a crouching pose. You could do it in like under 10 seconds, which is pretty crazy. It really takes no effort. It's mostly because of that weird crotch piece type of joint. I don't know if there's like an official name for it, but you can see like I did that pretty quickly, and it looks, obviously it needs a little bit of work, but like it looks pretty decent. And you get him even crouching farther than that, really, and you could have the hands bending in, and there's a lot of cool crouching poses you could put this guy in, which is really cool. That's really what you want with the Spider-Man figure. You want to be able to pose it around. So as far as interchangeable hands go, he comes with a pair of fists, a pair of open palm hands, a pair of thwipping hands, a pair of pointing hands, and a pair of web holding hands, which can also be utilized as thumbs up hands. He also comes with these like slightly cupped hands. These are used for his mask accessory, which I think looks pretty good, though it's kind of weird how the mask is slanted on a vertical angle. Would have made sense if the lenses were facing more horizontal. It actually holds it pretty well, holds it better than a lot of the Mafex Spider-Man do. I can't even remember the last time we've got a Tobey Maguire head sculpt in 1/12 scale. I don't know if we've ever gotten one. I guess we've gotten one from Toy Biz very, very long time ago, but I think the Tobey Maguire head looks pretty good. It's not spot on, but it's not as bad as some people are making it out to be. At certain angles, it really doesn't look like him, but at other angles, it does. And the articulation on this head works pretty well. Works pretty good too. It still moves all the way up just as far as you'd want it to go. So if you pop the head off, you can see there's the underneath of this head sculpt. I actually have to move. See, that joint is shifting to the left there, it's another one of those C-shaped joints, so I actually have to take some pliers and twist that back around. But for right now, we're going to put on the alternate head. Here is the smiling Tobey Maguire head sculpt. Sorry, I'm looking at it through the viewer, and it looks a lot goofier on camera than it does in person. Honestly, in person, it doesn't look as bad. And like even at certain angles, this kind of looks like Tobey too, but it just, you know, it's really not. It's really not there. I mean, like I like this whole effect here with the hair kind of messy after he's just taken off the mask. The other one is definitely a lot better. But you know what? For what it is, it's fine. I'll take it, right? It's an extra head. The figure also comes with a few different web accessories. He's got one long, two medium, and two small web accessories, which actually look pretty nice and fit pretty well into the hands. And as far as size comparisons go, here he is next to the Homecoming tech suit Spider-Man from Mafex, the comic version of Spider-Man from Mafex, and the Iron Spider from SHF. And I think all of these stack up pretty well. And there he is next to Stan Lee from Marvel Legends. All right, here we go. 2004 versus 2023. You know, it's pretty incredible to see these two side by side now. Obviously, we've come a long way since 2004. It's really cool. You know, this is a very iconic suit. People obviously hold this version of Spider-Man in high regard, so I'm happy to see that SHF really put time and effort into creating this new figure. It gives me the sort of vibe and nostalgia of when I first held this guy in my hand all the way back in 2004. So, you know, just a really well made figure. So that's going to be it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. My apologies if this seemed a little bit sloppy. It's been a while since I've done a review, so you know I'm a little bit rusty, and I'm also working in sort of a different space now. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get better if I end up doing more reviews in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, take care. Like it. Just